welcome to Toyota Field for tonight's match.
Another game night here on Me TV. Tonight it is the Scorpions taking on the spring champions of the NASL, the Atlanta Silverbacks. Silverbacks currently 5th in the table, Scorpions 8th here in the fall campaign. Hi everybody, welcome to Toyota Field. Lincoln Rose along with Kit McConico. Kit, 3 new names announced this week on the Scorpions roster. One of them familiar to the Silverbacks fans back at home. Kieran O'Brien has joined the Scorpions for the stretch run, but it'll be Dennis Chin who'll be introduced to the home fans first, making the starting lineup tonight in the place of the injured Borja Rubiado.
That's exactly right. Dennis Chin won the 2013 USL Pro title with the Orlando Lions. Very good player, and we expect a lot out of him early in tonight's match.
Scorpions coming off a defeat on the road in Minnesota, but they won their last home match, their one win so far here in the fall. 2 weeks ago against the Railhawks. They were able to stifle that offense. They'll try to do the same with the Silverbacks tonight, who are without Danny Barrera. Starting lineups when we come back here on Me TV.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the singing of our national anthem. Tonight, the national anthem will be performed by the Hoffman Elementary Choir.
October, of course, Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Scorpions will be observing it tonight as they debut their pink kits this evening. Those kits, along with several other items of memorabilia, will be on sale tonight. An auction taking place after this match. Scorpions, though, will hope to collect 3 points before that auction takes place as well. Kit, we mentioned not only debuting new kits, but debuting some new names this evening for Coach Alan Marcino.
That's exactly right. 3 new players in this squad. One will play tonight. We talked about him earlier, that being Dennis Chen. But the Scorpions and interim head coach Alan Marcino want to end this 2013 campaign on a winning streak.
Trying to accumulate as many points as they can down the stretch. Again, for Atlanta, they'd love to do as well as possible and carry momentum into that soccer bowl that they will host in November. But if they can just stay healthy down this stretch, they'll be in a good position as they will face one of these 4 teams likely ahead of them in the table. Fans, when we come back, we will get you those starting lineups and have kickoff. For the 4th and final time in 2013, the Scorpions taking on the SilverBacks tonight in the Alamo City. Scorpions with just 3 matches remaining here at home at Toyota Field. Their first season at Toyota Field. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for the Scorpions tonight. We mentioned one new name, and that will be that of Dennis Chen, one of the strikers, along with Hans Dennison and Thomas Zahorski. Of course, Dennison and Zahorski have been as valuable as any strikers here this fall of 2013. You see it is for a 3rd straight match. In goal, Jeremy Volo. We saw Steven Dureau in the midfield, actually, on the road last week against Minnesota, back in his comfortable spot out there on the left wing.
Dureau will be playing on that back wing, on that back line, along with Vuchko, Janicki, and Martin. We talked about Martin and Dureau on the wings. A lot of speed there to press forward offensively.
Now let's take a look at the opposing 11 for the SilverBacks. Again, they are your spring champions. Not much pressure on the SilverBacks here in the fall, but they just don't want to get rusty. They want to continue some winning ways. Currently 5th in the table. Joe Nasco is back in the frame. Hunt, the captain, will anchor that defense of this 4-3-3 under Brian Haynes. Coach Haynes taking over at the end of last season. Of course, Eric Wynalda is still the technical director over there in Atlanta, but Coach Haynes has done a very impressive job in his brief tenure over there in the Peach State.
Well, you mentioned it, Lincoln, and obviously Atlanta has already secured their spot hosting the 2013 Soccer Bowl, but they want to continue and they want to go into that Soccer Bowl on a hot streak, and the best way to get it started is 3 points tonight.
Now, Kid, as I recall, Atlanta on that final day of the spring season, they were 2nd on the table, and some team helped them ultimately win that championship back in the spring. I'm not sure if the Scorpions ever got a thank you card from the folks over there in Atlanta, but Atlanta certainly earned it. They picked up that victory on the final day against Minnesota back in the spring. Scorpions defeated the Railhawks, who had been atop the table on that final day. That was the 5th straight victory at the time for San Antonio. Scorpions are in the pink. Silverbacks are in the white kits. Again, it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month in October, as you see many professional franchises throughout the country donning pink of some sort. The Scorpions certainly doing their best to raise money for Maggie's Wish and the charitable foundation here in San Antonio to continue to raise awareness during the auction upon the conclusion of this one.
Well, it's going to be a difficult match tonight for the Scorpions, taking on this Atlanta Silverbacks team that they haven't beaten since June of 2012. Atlanta's taken a possible 10 out of a possible 12 points in those matches against San Antonio. So San Antonio's going to have to start hot in this match against the Silverbacks.
Yeah, that final match that the Scorpions took the full 3 points was across the street behind us at Heroes Stadium. Alex Pineda-Chacon was still the head coach. It was his final match as head coach for Atlanta. Is the 2nd time that month that Atlanta had fallen here in the Alamo City 3-0 to the Scorpions. And all of a sudden, Eric Wynalda comes in. A lot of names from California and Cal FC, many of whom have stuck around to become valuable members of this franchise.
Lincoln, you alluded to it earlier, and if the Scorpions want to win tonight, they really have to ride the scoring partnership of Zahorsky and Dennison. 18 goals between the two, the most of any duo in the NASL in 2013.
Duro wins the ball back for Walter Ramirez. Ramirez sending it all the way across to the opposite side.
We talked about Martin and Duro on the sides defensively. We'll see them push up. You saw it from Martin right there.
As this will simply be a goal kick back in frame for the Silverbacks. We mentioned we had seen Eric Otti part of this season, but tonight it is Nasco. And if I recall correctly, Joe Nasco, a brief history in law enforcement prior to stepping back in frame. We have two keepers with interesting backgrounds. You have the former sheriff in Nasco, and across the way you have the minister and Jeremy Volo. Volo thought this offseason that he had officially retired from soccer, stepping away from the New York Red Bulls in Major League Soccer. Until Tim Hankinson at the time, the head coach, mentioned, why not do both here in San Antonio? You can pursue the ministry and also protect the pipes here at Toyota Field.
Well, a very interesting story talking about, obviously, Volo, and you look at Nasco. So a lot of guys here in the NASL have some interesting stories. We look at this team, and obviously we look at how they got to this match. The Silverbacks beat the Eddies of FC Edmonton last week 1-0, despite being down a man for 53 minutes. Scorpions are losing 1-0 last week to Minnesota up in the Great Lakes.
Yes, San Antonio, after that 5-match winning streak to conclude the spring, a 5-match losing streak just at the time unfathomable to kick off this fall, despite the fact that Hans Dennison had not cooled off whatsoever. Thomas Zahorsky, it feels like he's been with them all season, but he has only been with them here in the fall. Scorpions continue to get some looks in this final third. As we're just 3 minutes into this one, Scorpions are able to compete toe-to-toe with Atlanta. Silverbacks only have one multiple goal performance here in the fall, and that was against San Antonio back at Silverbacks Park.
Well, you talked about Dennison, and that throwing off the head of Dennison being deflected and a corner kick coming. Dennison, one of the 3 players tied in the league for most goals.
That ball will slip past the Scorpions. Their first big set-piece opportunity. Ball still in play for the men wearing the pink and black tonight. Duro comes up to challenge in the midfield for San Antonio. And tripped up the foul against San Antonio. This will be against Janicki.
Very early here in the first half, just under 4 minutes having been played, but you can already tell that San Antonio is coming out very hot. They're coming out defensively, keeping a very high line defensively, trying to keep the pressure on the Silverbacks.
Well, Shane Maroney was confidently moving that ball forward, the product out of nearby Peachtree City over there in Georgia. That is until Edin Husic came up, and Edin's really seen more time out there on the pitch from start to finish.
He really has, and Husic is one of those guys. He was one of the Eastern Europeans who was brought in between the spring and the fall season. He's really worked out, didn't settle in as quickly as, say, Luka Vučko did, but he's really come on here in the last month.
Husic, of course, the young man who had earned 3 caps with his home Bosnia and Herzegovina national team, will turn 28 next month. Duro will be certainly competing for one of those all NASL best 11 spots along the defensive line at the end of this year.
You saw it right there, taking the ball away from Maroney, knocking it out of bounds, and Duro, very fleet of foot, but a very strong defender, diminutive, but a lot of people underestimate his strength off the ball.
Maroney will simply have a throw in here, a couple yards removed from the corner. Shane Maroney, 2 assists this season, matching his total from a year ago. Played 1,200 minutes last season with the Silverbacks. Here in the fall, has recorded a little over 270.
Lincoln, we spoke about it, and if you look at the Scorpion squad, number 15, the new man out there in the wristbands, Dennis Chin, coming from the USL Pro winner Orlando Lions, and Chin doing very well in that NASL season.
Yeah, you mentioned on loan from Orlando City FC, born over in Jamaica in Kingston. And he joined Orlando 3 seasons ago in 2011. A year into things, 11 goals in the 2012 campaign, would prevail with the Golden Boot that year.
We certainly know he can score goals. It's just a matter of seeing how long it takes him to adjust to this Scorpion squad.
Maroney has it out wide, good spacing, but again shutting the door, Stephen Duro.
I said it previously, and we will be watching the Jamaican native all game. Grew up in the Washington, D.C. area, but very proud native of St. Mary, Jamaica, as he tells me often. And again, great defense coming from Duro.
They had Duro on an island, 2 Silverbacks, including Maroney, And a nice lob in towards that far post. Scorpions can't clear it just yet. It'll be another corner kick here for the visitors.
Scorpions lucky. We talk about it. Big number 27, Luka Vučko. We always talk about the 6'6" Croatian defensively. And again, just using his frame at the right place at the right time, heading that out.
Fans in Atlanta gathering over the pub, Elder Tree. And of course, Atlanta, we'll have more on this in a little bit, hosted a summit for all of the supporters groups to send a representative and share some ideas. Atlanta threatening, and it'll be another set-piece corner here. James Hope, president of the Crocketeers, was among the many leaders who were tweeting from Atlanta. It's interesting, they chose to host it in Atlanta while there was no match actually taking place over there. So, president of the Crocketeers, this ball back corner, still not safe, but Husic, at least for now, able to walk it out towards the touchline. Goal kicker corner. It is a corner coming up for the Silverbacks. San Antonio has not been able to put an end to this attack.
No, very nice play right there. You look coming through was Maroney able to get a boot on that ball, keep it alive. And as you said, another corner. San Antonio with only one corner, now 3 in favor of the Silverbacks early here in this first half.
They've been knocking on the door. It'll be Pablo Cruz, 1 assist in his 460 minutes here in the fall. Cruz's right foot up top, a missed header. As Greg Janicki, I believe actually Greg Jennings, is able to work that ball out, and Scorpions finally get across the halfway line. San Antonio has numbers, and the pass too heavy, and Nasco a stress-free stop.
Well, that was a great pass from Dennison to Zahorski, streaking down. Zahorski looking to get it to either Saavedra or Ramirez, but both of them looks to be in an offside position.
Luka Vučko, one of only 2 Scorpions to play multiple matches with that captain's band around his arm. Of course, this is the 5th game that Scorpions are without their captain, Kevin Harms. He must sit out 1 more match, part of a suspension from an altercation with Minnesota earlier this fall. Luka Vučko has had a tremendous debut with San Antonio. He has played every minute this season, both in the spring and the fall, for the Scorpions.
Yeah, you mentioned Vučko, one of 9 players from the Scorpions to have eclipsed that 1,800 mark minute-wise for the season. With 1,800 minutes, he has played every single minute of every game so far in 2013.
And every now and then he gets to cross the halfway line.
And we talk about Vučko. He will come up. You'll see him coming up offensively. He'll come up in the box, bring the big body there. Always a dangerous threat for the balls played in through the air.
And the Silverbacks again work it into that final third, but not any further. As Janicki will have the throw in. Greg Janicki, out of Michigan from New Baltimore, Michigan. Turned 29 this summer, former Michigan State Spartan. As Atlanta now has the ball on the foot of Richie Menjivar.
Yeah, we saw Chin there with one of his first real touches of the match. Went down, still able to get the pass off to Martin. And it'll certainly be interesting to watch what number 15 Dennis Chin can do as the game progresses.
Even numbers, but Volo has plenty of time to scoop that one up off the turf.
Well, Volo, very good goalkeeper. It's going to take a lot more than that to beat him. A low, hard shot, but Volo in the right place at the right time. We talk about Volo, obviously he and Hannigan kind of switching off the starting position, and a luxury that any coach at any level would like to have 2 goalkeepers of that capacity.
We mentioned that night that Atlanta clinched the spring championship. It's thanks in part to Jeremy Volo having 9 saves against the Carolina Railhawks that night. It was an evening where they would get a brace from Hans Dennison, helping pull him even at the time with Brian Shriver. The Scorpions want a handball, and that will be the call.
I really like this combination here on the near side, right in front of us. Duro in the back, have Ramirez right in front of them. The 2 know each other very well. They play well together, and we'll see if that link-up play can push the Scorpions forward.
Javier Saavedra and Walter Ramirez over the past month have been playing on the pitch together. Saavedra will send it into 21. Ramirez able to distribute, and just off by inches. A beautiful feed from Walter Ramirez. But ultimately, the Honduran would love to have it over to do and just make a minor adjustment.
Yeah, fantastic ball put right across the 6-yard box, right in front of the goalkeeper. Nasco couldn't do anything about it. You'll see the replay right here. Beautiful ball played in. Zahorski tries to get on the end of it there and just unable to get there, the Scorpions.
Janicki had his right foot flirting with that ball. The header from Buchko will move out to midfield. San Antonio again tonight wearing the pink in honor of breast cancer awareness. These kits will be auctioned at the end of the night with other memorabilia, including a autographed number 10 Pele Cosmos kit.
Yeah, some U.S. national team jerseys signed by some players from both the men's and women's national teams. So a lot of really good items up for auction after the match.
Husic, 1 goal already for Husic, again working it into the box. As our referee, by the way, tonight, Jeff Gamble, will come over, and he's going to call a trainer out for San Antonio.
Yeah, big collision there going in. And that is Hans Dennison down on the pitch. Certainly not the player, or excuse me, I apologize. We'll see the replay right here. Husic plays the ball in. Nasco comes quickly off his line, does a fabulous job of goalkeeping, and Dennison just takes it right in the chest.
Yeah, you can see Hans is trying to pull up, trying to avoid the collision. He'll be tended to. We talked about Hans Dennison. He was Mr. June in the NASL this summer. The 5'9" striker a year ago was the facilitator for Pablo Campos' 20 goals. This year, both of his coaches this season have prodded him to be the force. Don't worry about sharing. We know you can finish. We've seen you do it in practice all year long. He took the challenge, and all he has done is led the NASL most of the spring and now fall. He is tied with Brian Shriver. Of course, Georgi Hristov, Mr. September, is right there behind them. And what a year Hristov has had over there in Tampa.
You talk about Dennison, and Dennison had a phenomenal season this year in 2013. You said he was more the facilitator, the distributor in 2012. But since being forced into the role as the goal scorer, you see the little pat on the back there from Nasco to Dennison. No harm, obviously, on that. Just a collision. Both guys playing as hard as they can. No malintent there. But going back to Dennison, just a phenomenal season. It shows what a complete player he is. Last year, the facilitator. This year, the goal scorer.
Hans will be among the many Scorpions who will be entertaining the fans who stick around for the auction here this evening.
Well, for those of you who are in the house, or those of you who see that, it will be very interesting. Hans, we told, will be dressing up and have a skit post-match. So we'll see what Hans does. See if he's as good off the field as he is on.
Silverbacks were looking for Horace James, the midfielder, on that long ball. You see Hans is going to slowly make his way back around, we hope, to the technical area so that he can step back on and re-enter in a moment. But he is still nagged by a couple of items. And Maroney will patiently wait. He's had a few throw-ins from here, and he certainly can get a lot behind these throws. Directing traffic, this time near post. Header by San Antonio. Follow-up missed. That was Menjivar flying in. Walter Ramirez almost overrunning the ball.
Yeah, opportunity there for the Scorpions in the counterattack, and Ramirez just got the ball stuck under his boots there and able to play it. Scorpions still in possession.
Husic faces the double team back to Ramirez. Ramirez can truly be an artist with that ball on his feet. Duro will look back to his keeper, Jeremy Bolo.
So far here in the 15th minute, I've seen the Scorpions play down the middle of the pitch, play here to this near side, but really not a lot on the far side of the pitch where Janicki is over there along with Lyle Martin.
Another throw-in coming up for Atlanta. Each team certainly has had their opportunities. Remember, Atlanta had 3 consecutive corners. Just could not put it past the goal line. Ramirez in the middle. Dangerous pass back to Duro. He sends it up the head, looking to Zahorski. Now it's a foot race, but Atlanta will prevail.
Now, one of the most impressive things about the Polish international, Thomas Zahorski, is his strength in the air. He goes into every 50-50 ball in the air, knowing he's going to win it. Never shirks responsibility. And again, right there, got the header, but unable to get on the end of it before Nasco could snatch it up.
Well, Zahorski made his presence known in his debut against Tampa Bay in the first match of the fall. He scored a brace. Through 6 matches, he had 6 goals. He's been a little quiet for the past couple of weeks, but he appears to be what they're looking for, somebody to match Hans Dennison's effort up top.
Well, the Scorpions have brought a lot of players in. We saw them bring players in after the spring season. They brought more in here in the fall season, trying to find that strike partner for Dennison up front. And as you said, Zahorski seems to be the best fit.
Hans Dennison with goals in multiple matches in a row now coming into tonight. He, remember, had the PK for the winner against Carolina in the 92nd minute 2 minutes into stoppage time a couple weekends ago to give the Scorpions their first full 3 points. San Antonio with 1 win, 1 draw here in the fall to their 7 losses, while Atlanta 3-4-2. Atlanta currently sits in the fall standings behind the Cosmos, who are 4 points ahead of a 3-way tie for second, the Rowdies, Railhawks, and Minnesota United. Cosmos have certainly made a splash in their debut here in the fall.
The Scorpions are going to have a substitution here in the 17th minute. Coming on will be number 20, Sani Toure, one of the new signees this week, and very, very odd to have a substitution this early in the first half. Have to assume it's an injury of some kind for a Scorpion.
Well, yeah, Hans Dennison, you recall, took that shot, and we have not seen him return. I believe he's made his way back to the locker room. So San Antonio right now is playing with 10 men out there.
Yeah, beautiful play on the far side from the Brazilian Pedro Mendes, trying to get around Janicki there. And Janicki's going to knock that out for the throw-in. And here comes the substitution for the Scorpions.
The second debut tonight for a new Scorpion. And it will, in fact, be in place of Hans Dennison, who is already off the pitch. It's Sani Toure, the 6'1" Gambian international. USL Pro, best 11 last year. Made over 50 appearances with the Harrisburg Islanders since 2011.
Well, a very interesting fact about Toure, Gambian international, played for the U17 and the U20 squad of Gambia. A lot of success in that African competition. And a young player looking to build on the success he's had so far, getting early action here in this match tonight.
You know, I mentioned San Antonio briefly there, was playing with only 10 men. That's nothing new for the Scorpions, of course, this fall. But even for the Silverbacks last week, Atlanta pulled out a 1-0 victory against FC Edmonton, down a man. As, of course, tonight serving the suspension for the straight red card is their top assist man, Danny Barrera. Barrera leads the league with 7 assists this season. And they're without his services for tonight. They will have him back at home against Minnesota this upcoming weekend.
A foul there against the new player for the Scorpions out on the pitch. That is Toure.
They go to Toure. Borja Rubiato not available, nagged by injury tonight. Hans had stepped back to a little bit more of a facilitator role once they incorporated, instead of a 4-4-2, a 4-3-3 look, with Hans playing more in the midfield than we had seen much of this year. Again, for those of you just joining us, Hans Dennison, a collision, an inadvertent collision with the opposing keeper, Joe Nasco, giving way to Nasco, but Nasco coming down on him. And Dennison not returning to the match tonight, done for the evening.
Yeah, we'll keep you posted on Hans Dennison as soon as we hear anything from the locker room. As you said, he went in there to be attended to by the trainers. Toure coming on in his place. So 10 with the start here, less than a week. Toure coming on in the 17th minute. So we'll see what the new Scorpions can do here for interim coach Alan Marcina.
Javier Saavedra will handle this kick. As you see the reminder, tickets available for the Soccer Bowl. Dial the phone number as you see below or visit the website. San Antonio, header flicked on. That time Janicki just about 2 feet shy of pulling in the first goal of the night. Joe Nasco with the save.
Yeah, Nasco, the 6'3", 205 native of Kissimmee, Florida, right there. Just saw the ball coming in. You'll see the replay, and he was at the right place at the right time. You'll see Saavedra calling, pushing his guys over. Saavedra takes his time. Saavedra lines it up. Beautiful ball over the top, gets it off the head of Janicki, but Nasco with a beautiful save for the Silverbacks.
I was pretty sure that was Greg and not Thomas. At 12 versus 22, the pink jersey is a little difficult, but sure enough, it was Greg Janicki, the defender, who had pushed up. San Antonio, no stranger to offensive-minded defenders. And San Antonio looking to overcome some numbers once again right here on the perimeter of the penalty area. Collected by the newcomer, tripped up, and well, that's right in front of the supporter groups. You're not going to get a whistle there in the box, but looking for the call for San Antonio again, the newcomer, Sani Toure.
Well, that's something that Toure is going to have to realize in the NASL. Things a bit different than the USL, not anything against the USL, a wonderful league, but certainly higher level of competition here, and you're just not going to get those 50-50 calls, certainly not in the box.
Ture again talking to the official, and I can imagine you can get frustrated with the physical play that you encounter, especially here in October. Something he'll have to just learn from his teammates to shake it off and continue the play. As again, Javier Saavedra, the oldest player in the NASL, and when Alan Marcino was promoted to interim head coach, he was given a second title as an assistant coach slash player. Saavedra, back post, may have been looking for Vučko, but instead, it'll find its way out to Husic. They'll go back into Eden, but Nasco never hesitating, going straight out for the ball, did not have even an opportunity to make the slightest of errors. Otherwise, San Antonio would have had an open frame.
Yeah, offsides there, flag up, and that'll go against the Silverbacks. But going back to that previous play, looked to be a little give and go there between Janicki and Husic, just unable to keep that ball down. And Nasco doing what he needs to do, quickly off his line, taking control of any ball played into his box.
And boy, did San Antonio miss Greg Janicki much of that spring. And all of a sudden, we're seeing some new elements to Greg's game here in the fall. Silverbacks 20 yards out. The ball stripped from behind, and San Antonio, more often than not, is slipping it into fifth gear.
Yeah, good defense there from the Scorpions. Looked like the Silverbacks might have had a few holes to take the shot. Took a little too long. And the Scorpions defense closed every opportunity available, taking the ball away.
We mentioned Atlanta will certainly be at the Soccer Bowl as they host it as your spring champions. But boy, hats off to them on this season under Brian Hames. This is after, of course, the debut season in the NASL. They finished with just 4 wins the entire year, going 4-4-20, finishing 8th. Last year they finished 7th with 7 wins thanks to a great comeback during essentially what would have been the fall season had there been a split. And then this year, full speed ahead ever since day one, going 6-3-3 during the spring.
Yeah, hats off to Haynes and also his assistant coaches, Franklin McIntosh and Gaucho Pino, doing a very good job there, getting their squad in to the Soccer Bowl, which obviously we talked about earlier. They will be hosting here at the end of the season. But as we said, they've already booked their spot, but they want to play well here. They want to go into that Soccer Bowl on a hot streak. The last thing you want to do is go into that match having lost 1 or 2 matches previous to that.
Giroux that time battling with Horace James for the ball. That's a pair of Jamaicans battling for it, and the one from Port Maria, Horace James, for the Silverbacks, able to prevail. As again, Maroney will have to throw in.
I saw Giroux and James speaking with each other pre-match. They know each other. They've played together before, and that will be a battle we'll keep our eye on all night.
I don't know about that. A little bit of tugging. It's going to be hard to keep your shirt tucked in. And Sandy Toure, ultimately that call does favor San Antonio.
Well, never to go against our officials, Mr. Jeff Gamble, our head official for tonight, being assisted by Tony Obas, William Tomlinson Jr., our 4th official, Pedro Trejo Jr. But usually the official would have played advantage in that situation. Looked at Toure, had the open ball after the defender fell down, but free kick given instead.
Vučko, friendly pass back to Volo. A couple of individuals you can find near the end of the phone book in San Antonio.
That's exactly right. 2 large gentlemen. You look at Volo listed as 6'3" and dwarfed by the 6'6" Vučko.
Giroux helping out Vučko. Instead, Atlanta will simply slowly matriculate down the near touchline. Shane Maroney, again the Georgian out of Berry College. A youth movement in Atlanta, just 24 years old. Talented young man.
Very good youth soccer in Atlanta and the state of Georgia in general, as our friends listening in Atlanta Silverbacks fans know.
Jeremy Volo almost losing his feet, almost saw the ball thrown into the back of the net from Shane Maroney.
Yeah, Volo very lucky there, had his feet come out from under him, able to get back on and make this save, but that would have spared a few blushes from the Scorpions.
My question is, where is the Silverback coming in for that ball to fight for it and put it past Volo, who clearly did not have his balance? As we have another whistle, that will stop play.
It'll be offsides against the Scorpions. And so far, I've been impressed with the two new young kids. You're talking about Dennis Chin and obviously Sani Toure, and doing a good job so far. Don't seem to be too intimidated by the gravity of the moment.
Both of them signed this week, one of them on a loan. The third signing, of course, Kieran O'Brien, the name that SilverBacks are so familiar with. Kieran spending parts of each of the last 2 seasons with them. Bolo maintains his balance this time and sends his right boot into it across the halfway line. And this ball just sent on a rope into the box, right footer cross, and San Antonio will have a corner kick coming up.
And what a 1-2 play. Dennis Chin playing the ball up to Toure. Toure with the wheels there and knocking it out of bounds. Corner kick coming, but wonderful link-up play from the two new guys. You'll see the replay right here. Beautiful ball played on the feet there. Toure looks across, looks to get the ball across the front of goal. And good defense there, knocking the ball out of bounds is Bobby Reese.
Bobby Reese, one of the many Californians on this club. San Antonio around the frame. And ultimately, Atlanta survives.
Yeah, you can see Janicki very unhappy there. Ball bounced in front of him. Tried to get a boot to it and just bouncing too high. Unable to get a solid strike. Going out of bounds for a goal kick.
Joe Nasco, the 29-year-old out of Kissimmee over in Florida. Midway through this opening half, we are scoreless again. Atlanta, as well as they have played this year, I mentioned they have only once scored multiple goals in the fall, and that was in Atlanta against San Antonio.
Yeah, so far very evenly played, 28 minutes. Both teams have had their opportunities, but neither able to capitalize. Still goalless, as you said.
Atlanta has scored 9 and allowed 9 here in the fall. San Antonio has scored 11, allowed 19. Remember, 7 of those goals allowed in the opener against Tampa here in the fall.
Well, a few stats there, and one of my own. Scorpions have committed 247 fouls so far in 21 games this season, but the interesting fact, they have also received or been on the end of 247 fouls against them.
Another opportunity. And again, San Antonio looking for a classic off the right foot of Thomas Zahorsky, and in the end, Joe Nasco, just by the tips of his mitts, able to keep that ball out of harm's way.
Yeah, beautiful play. Ball played across. Fortunate bounce in front of Zahorsky. Gets a boot to it, and Nasco has to use all 6 foot 3 inches of his frame to get a fingertip to that one.
Short corner, Saavedra. Left foot, back post, header will come from Atlanta.
Both defenses playing very well here in the first half, weathering the storms. A lot of corner kicks being conceded, but no goals scored so far.
Husic, Nasco on the fly.
And you talk about Nasco, and Joe Nasco, very big for a goalkeeper, 6'3", but all listed at 205, and he is every single pound of that 205 pounds. He is a brick. Talk about soccer players being lithe, but Nasco, no way, shape, or form. He is built like a football player, an American football player, that is.
It's been 5 months and 1 day since the Silverbacks last played at this pitch. It was a 2-2 draw back on May 4th between these two clubs. It was a spring where Richie Menjivar had been so hot, along with many other players who had joined this roster last fall under the watch of Eric Wijnalda. And of course, if you tune in to some of the European coverage, you see Eric in the studio still, where he fulfills his obligations with Fox.
We saw it just a second ago, another battle between James and Duro, the two Jamaicans, and Duro, the winner in that one. But as I said, that war is going to continue all night long.
Buchko will win the header and get it out of harm's way, out of the penalty area. And San Antonio may actually turn this into a counter. A beautiful tackle will slow things down, but it stays with San Antonio. You have Saavedra and Ramirez playing on the same side of the pitch here. An interesting dynamic for the Scorpions.
Well, earlier, Saavedra started out more in the middle of the park, even up toward the top, but so far he's drifted down here. Kind of a triangle here on the near side for him between Duro, Saavedra, and Ramirez.
San Antonio picked up 3 points its last time at home 2 weekends ago against Carolina. San Antonio has back-to-back home games. They'll be home against FC Edmonton. And in a moment, we'll tell you a little bit more about, there you go, right on cue, the double header. It is a Sunday afternoon match for San Antonio, 1:30. That's because afterwards, got a intriguing matchup from south of the border.
That is exactly right. A huge matchup between two giants of Liga MX, Santos Laguna from Torreon taking on Club Tijuana Xolos, and that will be a phenomenal game. A lot of Americans, such as Joe Corona, on that Xolos squad. Very good team, and Santos obviously one of the most well-respected, well-liked teams in all of Mexican soccer, so certainly hope you can all join us for that. As you said, a double header, so come for one game, stay for both.
This is becoming a home away from home for La Liga.
Well, we saw, obviously, Tigres from Monterrey came here earlier this year. We had Dorados, and Mexican teams, obviously not very far trip to get up here to San Antonio. They love the facilities. They like being here in San Antonio, and gives the fans here an opportunity to watch some world-class soccer.
Scorpions were hoping for a handball, but they'll continue with the defense, fighting for this. And they'll say a split second late. We'll see if this results in a caution.
Yeah, Martin very unhappy with that call. He thinks he's going to get the yellow card, and I think he probably will there too. Can't believe it. You see our head referee, Jeff Gamble, trying to get some players away, regain control, and they're going to bring the trainer out for the Silverbacks. We talk about Lyle Martin. He can play anywhere on the pitch. You see the replay right there, and Martin with a big tackle slides under Milton Blanco there, and Blanco's still down on the pitch, writhing in pain.
These two teams have been playing full speed throughout the night, and obviously that means when you miss by an inch, it can have some huge repercussions.
Well, that's a great point, Lincoln, and a lot of times we talk about teams coming in and playing the first 15, 20 minutes, kind of feeling the other squad out, seeing what they want to do, trying to shut them down, trying to install your offense, but there has been none of that this evening. Both of these teams hit the pitch going 100 miles an hour.
I have not seen a card yet, again, from Jeff Gamble, our referee, our center official tonight. You just hope that Blanco is okay.
Well, Blanco back to his feet and being helped off by the trainer, and it's certainly what you want to see. You talk about Milton Blanco, and Blanco, a very good player out of Fresno, California originally. You know, again, you see the replay right there, and Martin going for the ball, but very, very tough tackle. And Martin, another one of those guys who looks like an American football player on a soccer pitch. Very big body, very muscular guy. And
well, and fans in these parts familiar with Milton Blanco, Austin Aztecs back in '09. Of course, that went on to become the franchise that is Orlando City over there.
That's exactly right.
From whom they get Chin.
That's exactly right. It all comes full circle, if you will, here in the world of soccer.
And Kieran O'Brien on that Austin Aztecs team back in the day as well.
So no card being awarded there to Martin.
As San Antonio, you certainly would have understood the reasoning either way.
You would, and that's why we give our referees a lot of headway. Our head official, Jeff Gamble, doing a very good job. Felt that he could sufficiently talk to Martin and got the situation under control, and that's what you want to see. You don't want to see cards issued, especially not a lot in the first half.
Each team has flirted with putting one up on the board, but for now, both teams defensively have held, as it is 0-0 with over a half hour complete. San Antonio last week in Minnesota, it was scoreless for an hour. The 63rd minute is when Pablo Campos did it again.
That's exactly right, and everyone who follows NASL soccer knows the big Brazilian Pablo Campos, and he has a goal scorer such, to put it mildly. The fans in San Antonio certainly remember that from last year.
Kate, we're watching two of the newcomers for San Antonio. And for soccer, when you join a team and you're already out there on the pitch, it's a universal language, apparently, just simply sharing the sport together. As we see the foul there.
It is, and it's not. Obviously, these players, they played in the USL Pro season so far, so they're fresh. They've gotten a little break after the season ended. They played. They're in good form, but you're coming into a new team. You have to find your place to fit in with the rest of the squad. And as we said, a lot of these guys coming from USL Pro, they're moving up a step playing here in the NASL. So commiserately, they have to step their game up as well.
But we saw a moment there, Sani Touré as well as Dennis Chen playing a two-man game right about where that ball is spot. So neither of them going to shy away from making the most of their minutes. Silverbacks will work it up to Richie Menjivar. Menjivar, 2 goals and a pair of assists in the totality of this 2013 campaign.
Yeah, Menjivar, the holding midfielder, the general, if you will, on the pitch for head coach Brian Haynes' squad. He really does a good job directing traffic, keeping possession. You see it right there, finds the open man for the Silverbacks.
Richie will turn 23 on Halloween at the end of this month. Just happens that October 31st this year happens to be Halloween.
Well, it's just happenstance. So happy birthday to Richie. Obviously, he doesn't get to celebrate his birthday on Halloween every year, so hope he enjoys it. Kidding, obviously.
Husic.
Good ball won there from Husic, and that's what you want to see. That is going to go again. Husic, big, wow. Much to my surprise.
Wow. And Eden right now is explaining this shirt used to be tucked in.
Well, good play. I'm very impressed with our head official, Jeff Gamble, doing a good job letting them continue play. It's physical, but soccer's a physical game so far. No malintent, no malice in this game, just 100% effort coming from both squads.
It was Pablo Cruz who won that ball and won that call against Husic. Pablo, described by his teammate Danny Barrera as the clown on the team, but that time not just chuckles. You could see a very aggressive side from number 7 as well. No flag. Play continues. San Antonio attacking Nasco, and Nasco with a save. It was nothing but Nasco left, and in the end, number 18 got his left paw on it.
And that was number 2, Lyle Martin, streaking down the pitch, the right side defender. We talked about the fact that he used to play striker in the Chinese league, first American to ever play over there. You see the replay right here. The speed coming from number 2. Ball played in, and the shot, big save from Nasco.
And the Scorpions looking for the quick rebound on the set piece. Nothing doing. I've been impressed with Joe Nasco here tonight. This ball stays in play, but Steven Duro has a step on everybody. Steven trying to keep it in play. It's a corner kick all of a sudden for Atlanta.
Well, I think that is the 3rd or 4th battle between James and Duro here on the near side, and it seems about 50-50 on who's going to win each one. So far, Duro not beaten one-on-one, but concedes a corner kick right there.
Duro 4 times this year has been honored Team of the Week in his first season with San Antonio after his run with Puerto Rico. We're going to see Pablo Cruz handle this kick. Cruz will send it up top. Back post, Luka Vučko just smiles and says, it doesn't matter if you know me well or not, you should recognize that I'm 6'6".
There's no way you're going to get that in to pass Luka Vučko. As you said, Vučko does a wonderful job positioning himself in the right place, heads that one out. Scorpions continue to play defense here.
But Atlanta just continues, to their credit, knocking on the door, this time with Moroni. But more often than not, San Antonio's got the first touch, though still struggling to clear. And offside the call.
Yeah, another long throw there from Moroni. We've seen a lot of those here in this first half, but credit to that Scorpions defense. They're continuing to weather the storm. They're bending but not breaking.
San Antonio playing into the wind here in this opening half. A half that has 6 minutes plus likely a minute or 2 of stoppage time with some injuries that we've experienced here.
Well, talking about injuries again, we'd like to remind you that number 10, Hans Dennison, tied for the leading scorer in the NASL, came off early here. Coming on for Dennison was the brand new addition to the Scorpions, number 20, Sani Toure. So Toure on the pitch, Dennison back in the locker room, and we'll try to get you an update on his status at halftime.
Vučko that time playing along the touchline. As Pablo Cruz will wait for the numbers to push forward. Cruz, the 21-year-old out of Pasadena, another one of those Cal FC players brought in by Eric Wijnaldum a year ago.
When he talks about Wijnaldum coming in, really put his stamp on that squad, bringing a lot of players with him, and a lot of those guys have found success and continued success here in Atlanta.
Moroni. That time, Duro able to step in front of Vučko. Steven Duro again played in the midfield on the road against Minnesota last week. Arguably the top left side defender in the league. But you have individuals like he and Pat Phelan who are so versatile. and can give you that defensive mindset in the midfield if needed, or stay on the back four.
That's exactly right. So many players on this Scorpions team, really multifaceted players. They can play all over the pitch. Janicki, one of those guys, comes forward. You saw the big tackle right there, knocking it out of bounds, the corner kick, but much better to concede the corner than the goal.
See how the wind plays into this corner. Again, the wind is at the back of Atlanta. This ball bends in towards the frame, and it's going to be tipped out and simply throw in on the near side.
Volo doing a very good job quickly off his line, punching that one away. And we talk about Jeremy Volo having allowed only 14 goals in 768 minutes, coming out to a 1.32 goals against average.
Maroney will keep it tight, and Volo will be the first to get to it.
This is a part of Volo's game I really like. He starts the offense when he makes the save. He understands that he has the ability to start the counterattack if he sees it. Didn't see the open man, took his time, and found Ramirez.
Tap back to Ramirez. Ramirez last year, best 11 midfielder. Scorpions last year were represented at each level, striker, midfielder, and defender in the best 11. And their debut season in the NASL when San Antonio won the regular season title. In fact, the spring title was sitting right here at Toyota Field back on July 4th in case Carolina prevailed. I know Atlanta fans were a little disappointed that simply a photo had to be tweeted out from a representative. This will be too tall for the crossbar.
Yeah, Menjivar with the shot there, and we're talking about Menjivar pushing forward here as the first half continues. A midfielder, holding a midfielder, can play defense, play offense. Another one of those multi-tool players that we talked about earlier.
Volo takes his time. We're inside the final 3 minutes of the scheduled 45 here in this opening half. Plenty of opportunities that could just as easily be a 2-2 match. Currently 0-0.
That's exactly right, and you have to give a lot of credit to the goalkeepers. Volo, obviously Nasco for the Silverbacks, doing a good job keeping the clean sheets are these goalkeepers, and if they can continue to play this way, both teams are going to have a hard time scoring goals in the second half.
Everybody gathering around the center circle. Scorpions wanting the offside flag, they get it. And actually, it may have even been a handball. Either way, it's San Antonio's kick.
San Antonio plays the short ball here, but again, doing the smart thing, giving their guys time to get down the field to set up offensively.
That ball got on Maroney a little bit quicker than he anticipated. It was intended for Walter Ramirez. See if the Silverbacks can find something here in the final couple of minutes.
Duro again, nice tackle, knocking that ball out of bounds, and every time a ball is played down this near side right in front of us, you can be sure that number 7, Steven Duro, is going to be coming in for a tackle.
Right on cue, Duro sends it up to midfield to Zahorski, but Zahorski can't collect it. Alan Marcina, bottom of your screen, wearing a shade of pink as the support from all levels of the Scorpions for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We'll likely hear from Leslie Mouton during the broadcast at halftime. Local member of the media over at KSAT and local hero in terms of a survivor. And really the message you hear over and over is early detection.
That's exactly right. That's something that we want to continue to put out there, that the only way to save yourself is the early detection. The quicker, the better. And again, certainly a message that the Scorpions want to put out there. We talk about San Antonio Scorpions, everything they do for San Antonio, everything they do for the Central Texas community, Morgan's Wonderland. And tonight, just another example of what a quality sports organization this is.
Off touch by Saavedra, and a foul against San Antonio. A rushed kick. Ramirez sent it in to the middle of the field. Saavedra had to adjust to get to that ball, and you see the Silverback on the ground as a result of the miscommunication. It'll be Silverback's ball here as we wrap up with the 45th minute. And I believe 2 minutes of stoppage time about to be added. Another trainer, third appearance by a trainer out there on the pitch here in this opening half.
There, you'll see the replay right here. Going in, again, another tough tackle and a 50-50 ball. Janicki gets there a little early.
I don't think he ever actually got there.
No, Janicki just collided with Blanco, and Blanco again down on the pitch.
Not for the sake of seeing him in harm's way, but I'd like to see that replay one more time. There may have been a complete whiff.
We'll see if there is a substitution here in extra time.
Let's see if he ever actually touches him.
Ball played through. You see Blanco coming through there. Blanco plays it in front, and Janicki doesn't get the ball, just the player.
Yeah, may have had the forearm to maybe the ribs at most. And Duro will win another one here.
Again, you can't say enough about Steven Duro. Not your typical defender, smaller defender, quicker defender. Oh, trust me, we have, and I'll continue to in the second half, much to the chagrin of our fans listening in Atlanta, I assure you. But Duro, one of the new age defenders. He can play up, very familiar to Sergio Ramos at Real Madrid, Dani Alves at Barcelona, Luis over at Chelsea, that kind of player. Really high praise, but a very good player is number 7, Steven Duro.
By the way, a very rushed substitution. Pedro Mendes is done for the day. Alex Caceres will come in. The 26-year-old midfielder has joined Atlanta here in stoppage time of the opening half.
Yeah, Caceres, the 5'9" midfielder product out of Medellin, Colombia. Another one of those guys who played up in Northern California, Fresno Fuego, before making his way down to Atlanta.
First half is complete. Alan Marcina and Brian Haynes see their clubs played to a draw midway through this one. They'll make their way back to the locker rooms. I believe we'll be joined by Brian Haynes here in just a moment.
Well, a very good first half played by both teams. Very even first half, and no goals scored, so all to play for in the second 45.
And I believe we are now joined by the head man for Atlanta. They've, of course, locked up the spring. They're trying to continue momentum into that championship in November. But your focus here in San Antonio against the Scorpions, I know, is 3 points. What have you seen from your men here in the first half?
I don't think we moved the ball the way we like doing it. And I think it's a couple of things we're going to do that's going to make some changes. And as far as I'm concerned, we just got to make sure we neutralize their offense. They've been doing a great job. We now got to make sure we get compact and get ready to play in the second half.
Coach, as we mentioned earlier, you guys winning the spring season, you'll host the soccer bowl. How important is it for your squad to go into that soccer bowl on a win streak?
You don't go into any playoffs limping and get a good result. We got to make sure we go into the playoffs making sure we're on a high note, playing good soccer, because whoever we meet in the final, we know that we're coming there to beat us. So we got to make sure we're ready to play.
All right, Coach, thank you for your time. We'll let you join your team back in the locker room.
Thanks a lot.
Again, Brian Haynes, a sensational job in about a year at the helm, and even less time has been Alan Marcina. Coach had a victory back here at home, and you lose Hans Dennison in the first 15 minutes, but your newcomers, they're not tentative out there. They want the ball.
Yes, you know, it's a big loss, obviously, losing Hans Dennison, our top goal scorer. But other guys now need to step up, and we've been creating a lot of opportunities. We've got to put them in the back of the net.
Coach, very good first half, evenly matched first half. What do you guys have to do in the second half to come out of here with the 3 points?
Like I said, we've got to execute. We've created enough chances to be up by a couple goals. Guys got to put these opportunities in the back of the net.
All right, Coach Marcina, as always, thank you for your time. We'll see you all in the second half. 0-0 here at Toyota Field. Atlanta and San Antonio squaring off for the 4th and final time here in 2013. We'll be back with more from Toyota Field here on MeTV. Scoreless here at halftime between the Scorpions and the Silverbacks. You see Leslie Mouton from KSAT 12 right now talking to the crowd. She has been the master of ceremonies for some entertainment where some of the Scorpions recorded some skits. I know if you follow the Scorpions on Twitter, on Facebook, they've been leaking out some of these entertaining segments, some players dressed up, but Leslie right now narrating that. We hope to be joined by Leslie at halftime here, but right now Lincoln Rose along with Kit McConico. Kit, we look back at the first half and the first storyline. Hans Dennison, top scorer in the league, is out for the rest of the night. Only played about 12 minutes before going down with injury after this collision with the keeper, Joe Nasco.
That's right. Dennison going out, a huge blow to the San Antonio Scorpions team, but have to be very impressed with the young guns coming in here. Dennis Chin gets his first start, and coming in for the injured Dennison, number 20, Seni Toure, both doing a very good job. Guys that were brought onto the Scorpions squad this week, 2 of them 3 days ago, and so far no intimidation factor for the young players.
Hans, individual who's been recognized 7 times as a member of the Team of the Week for the Scorpions. And of course, he was Mr. June, a hot finish to the spring season. 12 goals on the year. He is tied with Brian Shriver. He will not be able to add to that tonight. What I've noticed is nothing new. Scorpions, they're going to be involved in physical play, but there's a respect here with Atlanta. Plenty of physical play, but it's because of hustling. We've seen some fouls, we've seen collisions, but the officials have rightly identified that it doesn't look like it's going to be anything that's going to escalate out of hand.
That's right. You have to give a lot of credit to our head official, Jeff Gamble, doing a very good job. Understands, as you said, this is a physical game. This is an important game. San Antonio wants to win this, as does Atlanta. Both teams playing very hard and certainly continue in the second half.
No goals in the first 45 plus, but there certainly were some near misses. We'll take a look at some of the opportunities for both squads when we come back on MeTV.
from the Scorpions has players from all over the world. That's why they rely on Stern & Associates for all their business immigration needs. Stern & Associates are the official immigration attorneys for the San Antonio Scorpions.
Fancy a proper pint? Get to the Mining Rose British Restaurant and Pub, your stateside home for soccer, the Spurs, and all your favourite sports. Plus San Antonio's best happy hour and reverse happy hour. Fancy a flight parade your mum used to make? But better, you're in luck. Try our authentic bangers and mash, shameless pie, and the best fish and chips this side of the pond. Or you can enjoy our express lunch for just $6.99. Visit theminingRose.com for daily drink specials and locations. Cheers!
Espectáculos, entretenimiento, deportes. Ahora en San Antonio, gran Fórmula Networks, 2.3 FM, en Bakersfield.
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to midfield for the beautiful and talented Vanessa Macias, who will be introducing contestants for the corner store whoopie pie eating contest. Vanessa!
Thanks, Chris. Okay, so we're going to look at the breaks because we have some serious competition right here at midfield. Now, first, we have Nick, the tapeworm. We have Christian, the crusher. And we have Dan, the Danimal. And they're going to come together and they are all going to eat whoopie pies. And whoever eats the most whoopie pies in 90 seconds wins an amazing prize in corner store. So are you ready, boys? On your mark. Get set. Eat! Okay, now the first place winner is going to get $100 in corner store. That is a lot of whoopie pies. And of course, they have first there and here's all kinds of sodas and snacks. Right at your corner store. Now, so runners up each gets $25. No, nothing is off limits. So long as you invest those $25, we will count them. You can dunk them. I see some Jody chestnut action right here with Christian the Crusher. The Danimal has already got, looks like 2 down. And come on, Nick, the tapeworm, you gotta get after this. Now, this is for all the models. This is like the Thunderdome. This is the Aerodome. You have 45 seconds.
Back at Toyota Field at halftime where it is scoreless 0-0, and we now check in with a friend of ours down on the pitch, Leslie Mouton, who's been entertaining the fans with some segments up on the big screen. And I know Leslie has a very important message for everybody, as it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month here in the month of October.
You know, guys, it is so incredible to be part of this night tonight, to see the players in the pink jerseys and also to look in the stands and see all the people who are wearing pink. Because tonight, for Maggie's Wish, we are raising money for an incredible organization, Wings, that provides 100% the cost of treatment and lifetime follow-up care for women in our area who are uninsured and underinsured. So tonight, the players are going to auction off those jerseys. And we also have great, incredible auction items that are going to be auctioned off as well. And it's going to be so much fun to see the skits that they provided. It's just this whole community effort to raise money to fight breast cancer.
Leslie, I know you got a sneak peek at the video board during halftime at a few of the segments. Do you have any favorites that you think folks should look out for?
It's hard to choose one, but wait till you see Michael Jackson. That's all I can say about that one. But there are some incredible, great, funny things. Gordon Hartman's in one of them, which is hysterical as well. Everybody just took part in it, and the players are actually going to be judged on their skits, and I get to be one of the judges, just saying, and they get to win incredible prizes too if they actually win tonight. So it's just going to be a lot of fun.
Leslie, for the people that aren't in the stadium, the people that are watching, what can they do out there to help?
Oh, there's so much you can do. First of all, check out Wings, texaswings.org. A lot of people don't know about this little gym that we have in our own community. It was started by one breast cancer patient and a breast cancer surgeon in our area, and they've got 736 women in the program right now. And seriously, lifetime follow-up care and all of their treatment paid for if they're uninsured or underinsured. We need to embrace it. It's our community, our people, and it's a great way to make sure that every woman gets a chance at a lifetime, because breast cancer, if caught early, is very treatable. Hi guys. I'm sorry, I just saw this little adorable child who totally distracted me. He's so cute. But it's a gem in our community that I hope everyone will check out and read about. Fantastic organization.
Well, Leslie, as always, thank you for, again, being relentless with communicating all the ways people can help. You're always stuck in the studio. You get to come out to Toyota Field here tonight. What are your early impressions of the Scorpions in this great environment?
Are you kidding me? This is the first time I've been here, and it will not be the last. This facility is fantastic. It is gorgeous. It's comfortable. It's got all of the amenities that you can imagine, and the spirit here is just electrifying.
And a soccer club that's synonymous with soccer for a cause, and of course, the Hartman family. Certainly no surprise, Maggie's Wish, the emphasis tonight, and seems to go hand in hand.
You know what? They've always been so generous to our community, and they've done so much for disabled children, and now they're even helping those with breast cancer. I mean, their generosity just doesn't end. So my heart just goes out to Maggie and her battle, and I'm so honored to know them, and I just wish I could be like them. I strive to be just a little like them. They're amazing people.
Well, it's great to have you on microphone, of course, here at Toyota Field. I know the fans have enjoyed seeing a familiar face. Leslie Mouton, thank you for your time here at halftime.
Thank you guys so much.
Again, it is scoreless 0-0 here at Toyota Field. Hans Dennison has received 6 stitches, again, done for the night in his lip. We'll have more on that when we come back. Scorpions and Silverbacks with 45 minutes left to play. Out of the locker room, and again, still looking for that first goal on the night. 0-0 here at Toyota Field. It is the 4th and final meeting between San Antonio and Atlanta. Meanwhile, over in Atlanta, it was the supporter groups who sent representatives for a summit along with Commissioner Bill Peterson of the North American Soccer League. Very productive conversation, to my understanding, a chance to swap ideas, a bit of a retreat. James Hope was over in Atlanta, while of course the rest of the Crocketeers and supporter groups for San Antonio back here in the Alamo City. My understanding is James is hopping on a flight in about an hour, and will be watching us until then online over in the airport. But Lincoln Rose along with Kit McConico. Kit, just moments away from the start of the second half. Opportunities for both sides, but we've seen several misses along the way.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Both teams had the opportunities, weren't really squandered opportunities by either squad, but it was the goalkeepers, Nasco and Volo, stepping up. Big saves in the first half, keeping the clean sheet. When we talk about Volo averaging 1.34s against on the season average, looking to keep it that way. And whoever scores first, I have a feeling, is going to have the momentum to win this match.
Again, want to thank Leslie Mouton for joining us at halftime. She's been an integral part to this evening's events and will continue to be so after this match, regardless of the outcome. As if Soccer for a Cause didn't have enough of a strong enough campaign. Maggie's Wish as well. trying to continue to fight for that cure, try to raise money tonight in addition to the awareness that's being raised. Among the items that will be up for auction to those here in attendance will be these pink kits that are being worn exclusively tonight by the Scorpions, as well as several other items of memorabilia from a variety of sports, but from the realm of soccer, of course, U.S. national teams and jerseys, and I mentioned even Pele, including some old memorabilia as well.
That's exactly right, and this is a wonderful breast cancer awareness raffle, trying to spread the message, trying to raise money, and as Leslie so perfectly said, early detection is so important in this battle, and we really want to get that message out there that early detection really can be the difference. So certainly looking forward to that raffle and that auction as we get ready after this, but still 45 minutes left to play, no score, so all to play for here in the second half.
I noted before the end of the break moments ago, Hans Dennison, as this is one of the many near misses for San Antonio. You'll see Joe Nasco making some fingertip saves along the way as well. But Hans Dennison, prior to all this, in the first 15 minutes, collision with Nasco, neither one really at fault. Hans was trying to yield to the keeper, just couldn't slam on the brakes quickly enough. And you see the night that Joe Nasco has had, an impressive outing. But we're told Hans was 6 stitches in his lip, and of course, the moment the substitution was made, he was done for the night.
That's right. Once the substitution comes on, if you come off, you are done. You cannot come back on the pitch no matter what. But as we said, very impressed with the young guns, Dennis Chin and Sandy Toure, playing very well in the first half. We'll see if they can keep it up here in the second.
We are live here in the second half underway. Ball on the foot of Horace James, who's been a factor this evening, certainly. James will work it back to the final foursome, that back line for the Silverbacks. We talked to Brian Haynes as well as Alan Marcina, the two head coaches, heading into the locker room. Of course, as expected, Coach Haynes, they're not simply content resting on their laurels and knowing that they have that spot hosting the championship. And I want to remind fans, while it doesn't look as though Atlanta will win the fall championship, right now they are trailing 4 other clubs. The Cosmos sole possession with 18 points, 14 points apiece for the Rowdies, Railhawks, and Minnesota United. Atlanta very much is still in the conversation, so my apologies if I've offended you with 13 points. But